Hello, everybody. It is so good to see you. Sunday, November 14th. And you know what? Christmas is going to be here before we know it. But speaking of Christmas and good things, my camera's awful light. I'm trying to figure out. Oh, well. Speaking of Christmas, let me see if I turn this off. Might be a little better. Now, that's pretty good. Okay, there's a little bit of sun peeking through. But hello, it's so good to see you. It has been a busy, crazy week. Christmas is going to be here before you know it. But let's don't depress ourselves today with that. So, I've got a busy day. And I'm trying to keep it together. I'm trying to get ready to go on this retreat. And I haven't packed, except I went to visit my son and daughter in May. And that was tough. But I haven't packed to go somewhere like this where I've got to bring so much. I haven't done this in 2 years. And so I'm barely holding it together. But it's been a fun week with some exciting things to share with you. And so I'm going to get pretty busy. I would like to, glasses need wiped again. I sometimes when I put on hand lotion, because I don't want you to see all my wrinkly old hands. Sometimes when I put on hand lotion, it gets on my glasses. So, okay, let's see all who's here. Who is the first person? Charlene Lawson was our first person here. Polly Thompson is here. Debbie's here. Marsha is here. Cheryl Hogan, how good to see you. A snowy mix in Detroit. Oh, wow. That's wonderful. You know, my mark, Cheryl, I keep forgetting that you're close to Detroit. My Mark lived in Livonia, Michigan, and near this lake. Oh gosh, now I've forgotten. But anyway, he was very familiar with that area. And he said, boy, those winters are hard. You find out how tough you are. All right, so, I'm glad I do like that sashing. I think it really ties it all together. I was hoping today to have at least 3 rows sashed and ready. But like I say, I am scattered and I'm trying to rein it all in because I'm going to a retreat this week and I have to leave early Tuesday morning and I'm not ready at all. I'm not even mentally ready. That's the hardest part, isn't it? And I've been making copious notes. So I'm hoping my list are going to get me through this. So I write everything down that I take. I write everything down that I need. I really spend the time to think it through. Because the worst thing for something like this is to get there and not have something you critically need. Like I tell you, the first thing you pack, don't just worry about packing the sewing machine. Take the foot pedal and the electric cord. So make sure you have bobbins, all that kind of stuff, because, you get there and you don't have your electric power cord for your machine, kind of ruins the whole event. So anyway, it is so good to see all of you. Now let me see. Melissa's here. Hi. It's been snowing in Ohio. Woo, it is early. Is that a little early? No, I guess it's November. I forget. And Livonia is on the other side of town. Oh, you're an East Sider. That's so neat. You're Livonia and then up. I'm trying to remember the name of the town. It was a little further north, I think, of that. But that he ended up where he went to high school and stuff. Okay, let's see. Don't forget the cord. You're right. Oh, Jody is here. Hello. I'm going to check. Oh, Kathy's here. Kathy Klein was on Thursday and I didn't see her until I signed off. I hate when that happens because I try to look for you. But when I get distracted, So Lisa is here. Oh, you have an eye infection. Oh, honey, I'm sorry. I hate those. Don't you hate that? The other day, I might have my shirt on backwards. I I think I have this shirt on backwards. It's up a little high. See, I told you, I'm just scattered today. You went to a quilt show yesterday in Leesburg, Florida. Oh, man, to get back out. I'm trying to think of the name of the lake. I'll keep trying to think of it. If he comes through here, I'll ask him. So, but Nebraska has had, oh, that's right, Marcia. You're in Nebraska and they get good snow. So, today has been busy. This whole week has been busy, but I have a feeling y'all are having busy times too. It's not just me, but luckily I get to tell you about mine. But anyway, I was looking, the picture's a little fuzzy. I don't know if Mark closed the door upstairs, but it looks like the number of bars on my internet connection is not the best. So we'll see how it goes. But if somehow it blurps out or something, you'll know that I don't have the strongest signal right now. I'm sorry about that. We'll have to check that too. But okay, I was telling the Thursday night art quilt group about something that we just recently learned. And a young woman was on the highway in Asheville, North Carolina, a couple hours away from here. And hi, Dolores. I hope you got the pattern today for block 12, and I'll show you that in a minute. And I was telling people about this girl, and she was signaling motorists that I need help because she felt she was in the car with someone that she wanted to get away from. And I showed you a hand signal. The man who actually called the police and followed her didn't really understand the hand signal, so I want to clarify that story. But he could tell that she was saying, help, please help, and call 911. He could read her lips enough to know that she was in trouble. So I just wanted to just quickly tell you, it's a Canadian thing where they developed a hand signal that means you don't have to like, this symbol means please follow up with this. I need help. But it's not like right now, wreck the car and get me or whatever. But the symbol is especially for the cases of domestic violence. And so if you need help and you can't use your voice out of some kind of fear, you can hold your hand up like this, put your thumb over, and bring your fingers down to trap it. Okay, and this is now the universal symbol that is please help. I'm being held against my will. I'm in a dangerous situation. Let someone know. Check back with me, whatever. So just please remember that. That's a very good thing. The chances are you'll never have to use it. But when they can come up with, I love it when I go to the doctor and they always ask, do you feel safe at home? And that's an important question because it's not always that way. So I just wanted to clarify that. And then my new sewing machine that I got this week ended up acting up. And it's a drop-in bobbin. And I had been sewing and the thread somehow wrapped funny on the spool. And so it bunched all up the thread. And after that, my bobbin seemed to be bouncing and was making a click, 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 click noise. So let me get my machine and let me show you how Mark and I fixed that. We went on YouTube. Thank goodness for YouTube. And we found a way to fix it. So let me bring the light over. I've got the baby quilt finished. Can't wait to show you that. All right. So here it is. And it's still a big machine, but I can lift 21 pounds. 33 or more, that gets tricky. All right. Let me get my power cord and my foot control. All right. So Mark was like, oh no, the new machine is acting up. And I changed the needle. I did all the basics. Changed the needle. I cleaned it, took off the presser plate, checked everywhere. And I'm thinking, I just spent good money on this, and now I'm going to have to take it in to be repaired and spend more money? That didn't set well with me. And then I also got a little pouty and thought, I won't have a machine to take with me to the retreat. I'll have to somehow take this big heavy one. And I wasn't happy with that. So let me turn this on and I will show you. So we went on. Yes. So Polly, I can show you how to fix it. Because when I was sewing, and this is so cool. Polly knows this too. But if I press that, it lifts up the presser foot. And every time, if I want to lower it. Now, that's not a big deal, you say? I could just do the back here. Well, the nicest thing is when I start sewing like this, and when I stop sewing, the presser foot automatically comes up. If I start sewing again, it goes down. If I stop, it pops up. I love this. All right, I'm going to bring you up here. And I'm going to tell you again what this was doing. Okay, let me take this out. I'm going to cut the thread. The presser foot, see, is, whoops. Let me, hold on. Whoops. I think I was coming in too far. Whoa, that's way too far. Okay. But anyway, so the presser foot always lifts up after you cut the thread too. All right. So and this is a problem with if you have any of the drop-in bobbins, just machines. Let me show you. What was happening is every time I was sewing, I was hearing click, 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 and it's a definite click, like, let me see if I can recreate it. A definite click like that, okay? That's what it sounded like. And then the bobbin, you could see when you sewed, you could see the bobbin jumping up and down, like, and waggling. It's like, what in the heck is that? So we were searching online everywhere, and I thought, you know what? What I need to search for is not just my bobbins clicking, but drop-in bobbin clicking, okay? So if you have a drop-in bobbin, pay attention. Oh, boy. Let me get the little key. Hopefully it's in here. Mark has been... Oh, no, I was afraid it might not be put back in. Let me see if it's in here. Okay, well, my best little key is not back in here. It's upstairs where this was right before he brought it down for me. So let me try to get this apart. Oh. You know what? I might have to wait until I can get his attention. When Mark tightens a screw, he tightens a screw, and then I can't get it loose. He forgets how strong he is. All right, I'm going to have to get his attention. But But anyway, while we're still here, because it might be a while, but I want you to listen and watch how good this sews. But listen how quiet this is. Whoop. And then you'll notice, see how the bobbin stays level? Okay, man. I'll have to get him in here. So let's move on to something else until I can get his attention. Now, have we gone just a little crazy with electronics or what? Because I'm going to text him and say, need your help. Okay, let me see. Because he's outside working. I don't know if he'll hear his phone. So, oh, come on. Come on. Let me try this again. Everything gets difficult. Don't you love this? I know, taking out those screws I heard there is a new kind of brand, there's a new sewing machine, I forget what brand, that you don't have to put the screws in for the presser foot plate. But let me see. I'm hoping this will get his attention. If not, I'll go to the door and do the old-fashioned thing. Mark! So, let's hope that he gets that message. All right. Because I can't get that screw loose. No jokes about how I have screws loose. I know that already. All right. Well, I'm sorry I couldn't show you that. But, your machine has that's exciting. Because these screws are so hard. And looking at all the YouTube videos, men with these big hands trying to get the screws out. And this machine has the best key that I've seen. Now, you know what? Let me check one thing really quick. Oh, I've got to tell you something so funny. When I was looking at all the things, like this tote that I take to my retreats, the first thing I've got to do is I've got to clean everything. I've been pulling out stuff. The dust that has accumulated this last 2 years. Here's the key I wanted. It's in my other Juki's bag. But I want to show you. This is the best design for a key. I've seen all kinds of keys. But anyway, I was looking. I take my chair, my sewing chair, where the wheels have all kinds of threads glommed all over them. And then now let me see, I'm going to try this again. And I might be able to, I also found this short one, because when you get a longer one like this, you just don't have the leverage. So let's see. I like putting this down in the screws. Aha! Look at that. It worked. Now, I don't want to turn off the light, but please, when you go to mess in stuff like this, please turn it off and unplug it, because, you know, it would be horrible. It would be horrible to have your finger in the way and get sewn. And I've only sewn my finger one time. I don't ever want to do it again. All right, so now I'm taking off this plate, okay? And it's a tricky one to get taken off. But this will apply to you, Miss Polly, so pay attention, because I was so happy to find the answer, because this is what happened to my other machine, my other Juki tube, when I do thread painting. So this will end up happening again. Now let me bring it in a little. Okay, then I'm going to bring, okay. So, whoops, tilt it down again, Deb. All right. So, now you see, let me take out the bobbin. This is the drop-in bobbin case, okay? See the drop-in bobbin case? Hi, Carol. Hi, Alberta. If you have a drop-in bobbin, please pay attention to this. And you have this little, there's this little area that sticks out. Now, if you have gotten a jam in there and it's messed up, check the edges. I need another light on in here. Let me see if this will help. Check the edges of the bobbin to make sure. Let me pull the light back over here. Check the edges and make sure your needle has not gone through, because sometime when you get it hung up, you might accidentally sew through part of the lip of this. In fact, I had a little crack. It must have happened to me, and I had a little crack, whoops, right there. And Mark went in, and you know what, that light now, I hate this. The one thing about this camera that I hate, well, it's still dark, so I'm going to turn it back on. But, so he went in and kind of filed that smooth so the thread wouldn't get hung up. But if there's any places that your needle has gone in, try to take and push the plastic back into place, or take a little emery board and try to smooth it so nothing catches. These cost about $90. So try to take care of it the best you can. Also, if there's a little ring of a kind of scratchy fabric in there, if that wears off, you've got to get a new bobbin case for $90. But okay, so now I'm showing you all about the bobbin case. When you put it in, this flat or open part goes underneath the presser feet, and there's this little, see that little area that sticks out right there? That little thing right there. That is supposed to bump against right here. And see this little thing? This is what can ruin your machine if it's not right. What I want to show you is, see how it is a spring. Well, when the piece of fabric got hung up, that spring was pushed flat. This spring right there, see, it's just this little piece of metal here. It got shoved in. So what Mark did, after watching a wonderful video with a man named Jordan, he showed us to take and pull, and it's scary messing with these machines, but to pull this out so that it would bump up against this part, that little part right there. Oh, see where I'm touching? That part is supposed to touch up against the spring, and you want that spring to be sticking out far enough to give resistance and keep the bobbin in snug. And the reason there's a spring there is because when it's picking up the thread, your thread's going to run around what's called a chase. This is called a chase. And in here, be careful, this is a magnetic ring, and that holds the metal part of the bobbin case in place. But you need that spring right there. And when you put it in, make sure it's well seated on the little lip, and that this can touch that spring. And sometimes when you go to push the spring out, it'll pop above this little plate right there, but don't worry, just pop it back down under this little plate. But Mark was terrified that he was going to mess it up. And if somehow this were to ever break or something, then you could take it off at this screw and buy another one here. But that little spring right there is what caused it to click, 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 and not sew as well. But now this machine has something new in it. It's got a little chip right here, and I think this is what senses the foot. No, actually, I've got to give the credit. There was a wonderful woman and this guy named Jordan who have videos on YouTube on why is my bobbin clicking? Why is my bobbin jumping up and down? But just remember this, if you have that happen, click, 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 and then you notice that bobbin's kind of moving a lot and bump and jumping, just take and stretch that back out some, because mine had gotten pushed in, I guess, when the thread got tangled, because sometimes sometimes when it gets like the bird's nest underneath, it can play havoc with some of your little screws and things. But that's all it needed. And this saved me probably $150 service repair. So just remember that little teeny spring has to have enough pressure to put against, and just take something and pull it, push it out, and you might have to like get the skinny screwdriver would probably be really good, and just kind of get in here and just bend it back out. Okay? And Mark was so afraid of doing that until he saw a guy, Jordan, on YouTube. Then he tried it, and it instantly solved the problem. I mean, instantly. So, but you'll know if it's acting up, if that is the problem. Just make sure this is well seated before you put your screws. This has to be seated just right, because there are things under this plate that put pressure and keep other things in place and have other things work. So see how I just loosely put this screw in? Then I'll put this screw in. And notice I do not tighten this one down yet. Do not. Get this one set in. Yep. Now take, and this might look excessive, but it's important. Tighten this a little. Then come over here and tighten this a little, because the screws will pull into, now I can make this one real tight, and I can make this one real tight. And this is the best key I have found, much better than screwdrivers. When you see them, you think, oh, they're just being cheap. No, they work, because it gives you torque, the way it's designed. All right. So now let me put this away and this away. And that's why take your tool case with you when you go to a class or a retreat. All right. Now, then I come back with my bobbin, and you have it coming over the top. Almost all drop-in bobbins have this. You come under. Whoops, I'm sorry. I didn't, it had sunk down. Okay. You put the bobbin in, and you make sure it's all clean, okay? You put the bobbin in with the thread coming over the top like this. Then you come under this little wire right here, under that wire. And then on this machine, you go around and around, and it has a little cutting blade. Whoa, I'm not showing you again. Oh, there we go. Has a little cutting blade, because you go around here and around here. It has a little cutting blade there that you just pull. Then your thread comes loose. Then you pop this back in, and let's check and see how it is doing. All right. And you'll see how quiet it is, number one. But then there's very little. See, the bobbin's just circling. It's not bouncing up and down. And how you can tell if it's really working is by sewing faster. Okay? So now I'm going to be quiet and sew faster and let you hear. No more click, 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 click. All right. So that, hopefully, if you ever have that problem again, I just taught you how you can fix it yourself. And just be careful that if it gets all jammed up with thread, what I suggest, don't do what I sometimes do and get angry and yank it. That's not the smartest thing. Don't get angry and yank the fabric loose. Lift it up carefully, cut the threads, take off the plate. I know we hate those screws. Take off the plate, and then with some tweezers, carefully pull the threads out. That is so much smarter because all of that stuff is kind of delicate in there and you don't want to pull and stretch and tug and get it out. So does that make sense to all of you? If you have a drop-in bobbin, I just taught you, like was taught to me, how to repair your machine. Because if you do art quilting, if you do thread painting, you're going to mess up that little spring at some point. And if I'd known that, I could have saved myself money over these years. So, okay. Now it's a click, click, click sound and the bobbin jumps up and down. If it does anything different than that, take it in and have it repaired. Because, you know, we want to make sure the timing didn't get thrown off and all of that. But that thing was clicking so loud, and it just sounded like click, click, a metallic click, 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 click. And that was the bobbin popping around. So, okay, now that's fixed. You can do it all yourself. Make sure, often, clean that bobbin case, lift it up, clean the chase underneath. The magnet that's in there, if you don't keep that area clean and enough lint builds up in there, it won't let the magnet hold the bottom of the bobbin case. So remember that one too. All right. That was fun. Now, let me show you my baby quilt that I finished for my nephew and last night. Got it bound. Now, let me see. Which side is up? Okay, this side's up. So let me show you. All quilted. And here's the back. And I'm going to have to put a note saying what side is front so that they will know for sure. But here is the front. And you know what? I know we're supposed to label our quilts, but for whatever reason, I don't like labeling them. And I know I need to do it. But usually I'm running behind, I'm in a rush. But let me show you a little thing that I did. Okay. His name is Levi. So you'll see Levi written in there. And then I wrote his full name, Levi Gray. Now, then I came down here and wrote his father's name and his mother's name. And then it was fun to have these blank canvases. And don't worry if you see a pin. That's just a little stitch I need to fix. But here I put lots of love. Lots of love, Levi. And then I put a great new life. And hugs and kisses. And then over here, I put the year and signed it Aunt Deb. So that I thought you might keep in mind, because if you're like me and you either don't have time, I've got to get that in the mail tomorrow. And because the little boy was born back in September, I got to get going. But anyway, I just thought while you're quilting it, you can write information in it. And I'm hoping that, he'll like that. So anyway, I haven't named my machine yet. I'm thinking about it. I've never named a machine before. But Diana Wright was here the night that I got it and did an impromptu. Hold on, the sun is coming in. But she was here the night that I got the machine. She said, name it Jazzy Jukey, but I haven't decided. And but I tell you one thing, it's hard to get used to. My hand keeps wanting to go back and lift the presser foot, and the machine kind of grunts at you when you do that. So it's oops. But I'm getting used to it. You have to break, certain habits that habits that you don't realize. When you sew every day, you develop this whole set of habits. So now let's go to, I've got good stuff to show you what I bought and to tell you about some plans that we're going to do coming up. So Melanie was our pen cushion winner, and she asked for a gift certificate to Joanne Fabrics, which I was happy to give her. And so she was awfully tickled. I think she said she had never won something like this. So I'm working really hard on getting ready for the retreat. What I'm trying not to do is get so exhausted that when I get there, I don't have fun. So that's a tricky balance. Yep, you saw the border design. Let me bring the camera up. You can see, don't look at the quilt behind it, but do you see the striped border and the red stars? I think that's going to be such a fun way of finishing off this quilt. I put on the site this morning, Dolores, I sent the pattern to your email. She asked me nicely. I finished designing it. Well, not designing it. I had to enlarge the pattern. And I finished that at 3 a.m. So I sent it to her this morning. For the rest of you, it's on our site. And if you want to participate, this is our 12th and final block of our Christmas block of the week. But let's say you named yours Bubba. Oh, that's so cute. That's so cute. I'm going to name her something like, Wind Beneath My Wings. Okay, if you send me an email at OurTime to quilt@twc.com, I can send you every copy of the 12 blocks. I want to give credit and thanks to Wombat Quilts, Kathy, who designed these blocks. And I took them, they were from two different projects. And so one of them was made for 8-inch stars and the other was for 12.5, or 12 finished. So anyway, I had to enlarge them. Some of you have said they finish off a little bit differently. So just average out, you might have to take and even them up just a touch, kind of fudge it. When I have a block that's 1/8 of an inch off, what I do is I change the seam allowance. So the bigger one, I take a bigger seam allowance. The smaller one, I use less of a seam allowance. I shorten the stitch, and that way it kind of offsets it. We got to do, girls have got to do what we got to do. Wait till you see what I've done today. The background fabric was left over from a Jenny Beyer project, and I thought it would be enough, but week after week, when I kept using that background fabric, I saw the piece get smaller and smaller and smaller. So you know what I did this morning? I took and sewed together all of my scraps, tiny little scraps. I sewed all of these together so that I could try to make fabric so I would have enough to finish this. And some of you might think that's tacky, and to some people it is tacky. But I prefer to say I'm channeling our frugal foremothers, our grandmothers of the past, who made do with what they had, because they couldn't just go to the store and pick up anything. You had to make do. And I've done that before. I've actually bleached fabric to try to get a better shade. I have tried to match it as close or use the back to do. But, you won't believe how much piecing I did to try to build fabric. And I said, that's okay. I'm being frugal. I am not going, to try to find a fabric is not always easy. And then to pay for shipping and all of that, no. So hopefully I managed to build enough that I can finish the last block. Here is the last block. Let me show you. This time, what we've been doing is we've been doing 8 pieces to make the whole block. This time it takes 4. Now, unfortunately, it still takes 4 pieces of paper because the block is big enough you can't put 2 on one page. But this is going to be a pretty simple finish right here, okay? This piece is the first piece you put on. Then second, you can go ahead and do third here. Then fourth, then fifth, and fifth, sixth, and this 7th is the last one you put in. So I am going to get ready and make one of these, but you see how far I got. But I did want to show you how remember I tell you I take and pre-fold on every line and really give it a good crease. Then I take and write the colors because, I forgot to put background on that one. The reason I write all the colors is it gets confusing. It's like, what is this and what is the design? But I write, and you'll see on every one, I write what fabric goes where. Because if you think you hate taking out seams, you'll hate taking out seams from paper patterns. All righty, so let me show you real quickly. Here is the pattern, block number 12. Our Mary has been recording the names of the blocks. So this one is Star Petal. Whoops. Come on now. Focus. Come on, camera. You need to focus. Let me see. Well, my camera's not focusing. Oh, here we go. There we go. Block 12, Star Petal. All right. So this is the pattern for this week. You need to make 4 copies, and the block will be in 4 pieces. Now let me check my list right here. You can tell I'm tired. I got to bed 4 a.m. and got up before 10, and I'm a little tired. So I'll make sure I get some good sleep tonight. All right. Yep, I'm going to show you our Thursday night project and talk to you about that. And let's work then. Showed you the baby quilt, and then can't wait to do show and tell. Have some cool things to show you. But first, I'm going to check and see what you've been talking about. Are you buffering, or is anybody buffering? Hopefully not. Oh, good. It came up one little notch, so I've got a little bit stronger signal. Anybody want to? Anybody have any questions before I start sewing on this? Keep chatting. And this is the last block. So this is the last time you're going to see me paper piece for a while. So I'm going to get my little cutting board, my glue stick, which I have become a glue stick lover now. Okay. Let me get my, I've been moving everything around. Hold on. Here it is. Get my rotary cutter. And here we go. Let me get the camera in a better position. And let me get if you want to try to get a hold of me, or you need to tell me something, try to write in all caps and I will try. Whoops. I think I just broke a ruler. I don't know. Okay. All right. Well, I've got something in the way here. Here we go. Okay, get that out of the way. And let me loosen this. All right. All right. Well, that one's not working as good. Whoop, no, that goes that way. Oh, okay. I'm trying to learn. I need to take a picture of these little joints and show you. But I'm not a good robot person. Okay, so here is my paper. And the first piece I'm going to put in is a piece of that background fabric. And sadly, I'm not using the new one because this is already set up. My Elna is already set up and right here. All right, so I'm going to take this piece and I'm going to make sure that I have a big enough piece of fabric to cover. And these little pieces that I cut off, I'm going to save those and sew them back on because this is all I have. And if I run out and I really can't make the fabric last, then I will get as close a color, another blue, as close as I can get to this one. All right, so here is my square that I want it to fit on. So I'm going to put some of my glue stick and put this. And then I'm going to come here and trim it. So I won't waste it. I will come as close as I can. And so I trim as little as possible. All right. Some of these pieces I'm not going to be able to use again, but that's okay. So now I'm going to go ahead and I like to trim as I'm going because it just makes it so much easier. I don't have to worry. But I definitely want to trim between piece 1 and piece 2. So I did some good shopping from Michael's this week, and my daughter was coming this way, so she even stopped. I had curbside service, but she stopped and picked it up for me, and I can't wait to show you. Uh-oh, auto power off. Uh-oh. No. What did I do?